Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers podcast, episode 153. And we are back with some good old stuff of MMA to talk about from this weekend. We had some one championship. We had PFL, BKFC, no UFC this weekend, but plenty of stuff to fill us up. And we had the GFL draft, which, depending on how people are feeling about GFL and the people and everything, is if you were happy or not, excited, whatever, but there's going to be... Huh?
I said sad.
Yeah,
sad,
no.
disappointed.
We'll see how it... Well, you know.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. But either way, before we do, like and subscribe. If you're enjoying everything we're doing around here, we appreciate everyone that does. Let's go. Closing in on 100 subscribers. Let's get us there. Yeah. But first, let's talk about the GFL draft. Since we got a whole lot of fights to get into, but this is the first non-actual fight result thing to get into. There's a whole lot of things there's so many different aspects to it. I guess, like, for me, where I'll start, I was a bit disappointed in the production of it all. Like, in just how they had it set up and how, like, they, broadcasted it.
Yeah, there was no reason that it took 3 hours to get through the draft.
And I mean, like, well, not even really that. Like, they're drafting 120 fighters out of, like, 300 plus. So it's like, I can understand that it takes a while.
But it was just the way they did everything and the fact that it still took 3 hours. Like, it was not planned very well at all.
It was very weird coming from someone who has watched, like, the NBA draft, the NFL draft. Like, it was very, like, odd. I will say, like, out of all the production that they did, I think the best part of it was the little round table they had with Brendan Schaub, Robin Black, Goldie, and all that. Like, I think, like, that look, that was perfect. That was perfectly fine. That worked well.
Yes.
How they were announcing the fighters and who was drafted, dog shit. Like, that was ass. I cannot even, like, put other words to it other than it was bad.
Because it's like, me and Kate, talked about it a little bit off, like the other day, and it's like, because Darren Owens, is that his name?
I believe so.
It's like, he doesn't seem like the greatest guy to be kind of the face and, like, the promoter, and you know what I mean? Like, he just definitely doesn't seem like he should be that person. But he's obviously filling that role because they don't have anyone else. But with that, why did you just have him standing in front of a fucking green screen thing with a mic stand in front of him, arms just completely down fucking beside him, his fucking sleeves so baggy it looks like he doesn't even have arms in there, and then he's just like, oh, draft pick number 1 from this team, this person, number 2, this team, this person,
For me,
that was just so lame. That was the biggest, like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's because of the fact that he, like we said, he does not have that personality to be the face. He does not have that energy of like a Dana White who's, what's up, everyone? You know what I mean? So with that, as somebody who seems like maybe he's not as comfortable behind the mic and on the camera and things of that nature, I couldn't imagine how many times he might have practiced to himself saying those exact words. And the more you practice it, the more you say it, the less authentic it comes out because it's so written and scripted that you are just robotic about it, So it really just gave it that edge of, I don't like this. If he had any type of personality to him, any life, it would have been a bit better. But
yeah,
no, yeah, 100%. Because the only thing I can compare it to is NBA, NFL. I've never watched MLB or NHL drafts. Those things are like 100 fucking rounds. That is way too fucking long.
Yeah,
for players that aren't even gonna play for like 3 fucking years because they're going to a minor league team. But when it comes to like those, like it's like it's kind of the same thing, but like it's a whole event. Like that's the biggest thing. It's an actual event, and I think that's where I was like, this would have been so much better if it was like an event like that. Now, maybe they start doing that later on. Like, I get it, it's the first one. But that would have been actually kind of interesting because, they have a podium up front. The commissioner walks out, announces who it is. Usually, with the first pick, the, whatever team, LA Clippers pick out of this college this player, and it's like if they had done something like that where they like gave like the home state fighting out of blank, like instead of being so like just name formula type thing, it would have been better. And then when it got to the later rounds, it got even worse when they started announcing 3-4 fighters at a time. That was
and because it's like, there was just no real, like, because if they had like a main graphic or something, showing like all the teams and like the rounds and picks or something like that, the weight classes, and then it's like as they've picked them, then like, they're kind of filling it in. I feel like even that would just look better. But it's like, for the first like, 2-3 rounds, it's like, okay, this team takes this fighter, and then it's like they have the fighter talking or whatever, doing that. And then it's like just going to the next. And then, they just started doing 3 at a time. It would be a little thing in the corner, just being like, oh, pick 14, 15, 16, this guy, this guy, this guy. And it just
wasn't very coordinated. It seems like not a great construction behind it. And just got to give it to them that it was their first one, and hopefully it'll be better in the future.
Yes, for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it is one of those things where it's like, if I was on that team, I'd be like, guys, this is not good production value. This is not the production value you want for this. This is what we're going to need to do. Here's how we do it. Blah, blah, blah,
because,
blah, blah.
Listen, whose idea was it to put in that cringy ass AI song, dance, animation, just all of that? That was horrendous.
That was the next thing that I wanted to bring up, was that fucking AI song and like video package that they had, because holy shit.
That song AI?
Well, no. Oh, well, no. I probably not. But like just the video package of the AI.
Yeah. The animation was bad.
Like, who thought that was a good idea, and that anyone would look at this and be like, "Yo, dog, that's dope," and not what the fuck.
The future of MMA is here.
The future looks suspiciously like the past.
But they're definitely, the overall production with that, like, the AI, that shit wasn't great. It was so, just off-putting. They did have a few different, just like errors throughout their production and stuff. Like, Douglas Lima having a win over Cain Velasquez. That was a very funny one.
They had Tony listed, Tony Ferguson, sorry, I know we'll get into things, but they had him listed as a welterweight. They had Alexei Olenik's name spelt wrong. Just a bunch of things like that. Like,
but so with all that though, we did get all 6 teams drafting 20 fighters, 2 per weight class, 10 weight classes altogether. Can just run through it real quick with like the weight differences and everything. On the female side, atom weight 110 pounds, straw weight 125, bantamweight 140, and then on the men's side, bantamweight 145, featherweight 55, lightweight 65, welterweight 75, middleweight 200, light heavyweight 225, heavyweight 265. All right. So, do you want to do just like the more notable names for like each team and stuff like that, and kind of then get into our feels like about like the team's overall picks and stuff?
Yeah.
Because there are like a decent amount of people that are kind of don't really know who they are, just new people coming into the scene. But on the London scene, or the London team, most notable people for sure, Josephine Knutson. That was like a surprising one, of like when we saw her that on the draft eligible, of like, oh, she actually got cut after 1 loss in the UFC.
Right, like, because I really do wonder if she got cut or if she was on just the 3-fight contract and saw the GFL and was like, I'm gonna look elsewhere for now,
Yeah. But we got her, Julia Budd at bantamweight. We got Penny Kianzad at bantamweight, Brett Johns featherweight, Mike Grundy featherweight, Benson Henderson, Danny Roberts, Gegard Mousasi, which was London's first pick, which was such a smart one by them, and that was the very good one.
Oh yeah.
And then Alexander Gustafsson, Alir Latifi, Stuart Austin, and Tanner Bozer rounding it out at the end at heavyweight. How you guys feeling about the London team?
Overall, I do feel like they have like some of the more notable names. Like, going through, we actually were able to list most of them, where it's like, you might know them,
Yeah.
I think they have some really good picks in someone like, Gegard Mousasi, Josephine Knutson, like those are solid.
Yep.
But then there's other people where it's like, they might be good, but it's just a lot of older guys. I'm not sure how to feel exactly, Because then it's obviously a lot of older guys throughout the team, so it depends on matchups, I guess.
No, that is definitely going to be very big with a lot of these names and weight classes, of just You got some real solid people and that are on the way up and good records, whatever, and then some people where it's like, why are you even here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they have a few of those on the women's side, but they do not have that on the men's side.
Yeah.
They have Brett Johns, who, he's 20 and 5 losses, 32 years old, so that's solid, but yeah,
for sure. Dubai team. Some notable names on there. We got Arlene Blencow from Bellator. Timur Valiev. Damir Ismagulov is back. That was very nice to see.
Yeah.
Tafik Masayev. Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Tyron Woodley, the number 1 pick overall in the draft. Yep. So that was definitely cool for him. Derek Brunson, Luke Rockhold, Omari Akhmedov, and Todd Duffy are the notable names on the Dubai team. How you guys feel about the Dubai team? Because I know it's also one where those are the notable names and there were not as many, as bringing up with London and a lot of the other ones, but they got a lot of people that are unknown, seemingly pretty solid though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that they don't have all of the notable names, but they have a couple of just very solid people. Yes. And they have this guy at 155, Aladet Nurmatov. He is 27 years old with a 13-2 record on a 6-fight winning streak. That's solid as fuck. There is also Kumayan Tuktamaradov, who is 26 years old. His record is 12-5, but he's on an 8-fight winning streak. His losses go back to earlier in his career, and he's been doing good as hell since, So again, just another solid guy. Damir Ismagulov, somebody that you did mention, but it's it's not like he did bad in the UFC by any means. He just had some things going on and ended up kind of just being like, I'm done here. And now he's back to it, 33 years old, 26-3. Love this for him, you know?
No,
and then on the women's side, it's their names are not that notable.
Yes.
And the one thing that it's a little questionable is some of their ages, because it's you have Anastasia at 35, but she's 5-0 right now. Not Jessica Aguilera, sorry. Faye Mesquita, she's 36, but she's 3-0. She just got into MMA a couple years ago, but she's been fucking cooking since.
Yeah, no, for sure.
A lot of good stuff on this team.
No, yeah. There really is. I really don't understand the Tyron Woodley pick number 1 overall, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprising one, but then that's where it with the first couple rounds of a lot of the notable names getting picked, it does kind of make sense of because you do need these teams to actually have bigger events and sell tickets so the team can actually make money and the fighters make more money. So I definitely do kind of understand why there was a lot of that going on at first.
It's because we haven't gone through it all, but a lot of people have been talking shit or just making the jokes of Grandpa's Fight League and just about all the old men. But exactly to that point, if these names were not here that you knew and that you cared to even check them out, you would not give a shit about the guys that were 26 years old, undefeated, that were 27, only 1 loss on you know what I mean? It would not bring the same amount of attention here. So we need those names so you can watch out for these other guys so that when the next draft comes, more of the old guys are out and now you give a shit.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay. So
now that
before we actually go into the whole of the LA team, there is not a whole of the LA team, because this has happened in the last 12 hours. Rashad Evans is not on the LA team. He responded to a tweet because Rampage was like, I didn't know Rashad was in this. I wonder how that's going to affect their boxing match. And he's like, I'm not. I was added to this without my permission. So he is not on the LA team. He was taken off the official roster for the LA team. So
okay, because I was trying to find something, because obviously you sent in the picture where it showed the LA team, but it had to be announced for the next guy for light heavyweight.
I just found this because I was
and then that post got deleted then.
Yeah.
And they have all the other teams up, but not that one with the to be announced. So I was like, let me go see what Rashad Evans has to say. And none of his pages had anything to say about being drafted, being a part of GFL, none of that. I was like, ooh, interesting.
No. Rampage said, I didn't know Rashad is on here when I'm scheduled to be his ass in April. He said, I'm not. Let me be clear. The only commitment I have is to lay your ass out in April. I was added to this without my consent. You ain't off the hook that easy. To Rashad. To Rampage Jackson on Twitter. He has been since, taken off that official roster. And it's just like,
It's funny because it was like 2 days before the draft came out. Jimmy had saw something that was along the lines of, oh, people are being added or saying that they're signed, but they never really were. It was the day that Tony was announced that he got drafted. And it was like, okay, so is this a lie? But then obviously Tony posting it on his page, like a whole bunch of people that were a part of this and actually made it into the draft, that confirming it. So all of those worries just kind of went out of my mind of like people being drafted without their consent because of all these other major names like taking part and actively being like, no, I'm here, you know?
No,
So
exactly. So I am curious what's going to happen like with some of these other names. If other names are actually going to pop up as being like, hey, what the fuck?
Well,
I just wanted to make sure we said that before we really got into it, because it was going to be something that is like going to need to be brought up.
Yeah, no, because I saw that last night, and because I think it was Mick that sent it in or whatever,
okay.
And like because it was funny because on the post it said 4 minutes ago, and that was literally exactly when I saw it last night, 4 minutes after it was posted, and then like 5 minutes from there I went and it was gone, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, okay, that's weird, but it's like, if it's, to be fair, if there's any names that drop out, like, you know, in similar type fashion, as long as it's similar names to the ones like Rashad, I am fine with that. Because let's go into the LA team. I truly do not understand what the fuck Rafael Cordero and Vanderlei Silva were fucking thinking, other than trying to sell names off like just supremely washed people.
It's gotta be that, because there's
but let's just get into this, because I could basically just go through this entire team because it's notable. Corey McKenna, younger, so you know, like that's actually fine. Like that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Jessica Penne, Alimale McFarland, not too old, but you know,
Alimale only 34, so
Cynthia Calvillo, Aspen Ladd, Leslie Smith, Ray Borg, still young, fine. Uriah Faber at 45 years old, Chad Mendez at 39, Tyler Diamond, Sage Northcutt, both younger, Tony Ferguson, 8-fight losing streak at 40 years of age, Lorenz Larkin, not doing bad, but still on the older side, Grant Neal, Uriah Hall, Dawoon Jung, and then, like we said, Rashad Evans was supposed to be in there, but obviously is not. And then their heavyweight picks, also two 45-year-olds, in Frank Mir and Andrei Arlovsky.
Yeah, so
at least with our
shot out, we have 3 45-year-olds, a 42-year-old, a couple 41 and 40-year-olds.
Yep. Yeah, no, apparently Rashad did say, like, I've done more digging. I found more of what he said. He never signed with them. He had expressed interest in fighting with them in the future, but he couldn't sign anything until he fought Rampage in April.
Gotcha.
Which then he concludes the quote with, because I specifically told my manager not to allow this to happen. You know, once they included him in the draft, it bothered him because he told his manager specifically not to allow this to happen. He goes on, and I quote, "This organization is amateur. I just feel bad for guys who jumped to this promotion and left viable contracts with other promotions. This behavior told me all I need to know about this promotions. They made promises they can't possibly keep."
Interesting.
So
yeah, we'll definitely have to see how all of it plays out for sure. But yeah, definitely LA. That's a rough looking team for sure. With those
the only ones that I feel like they have that are like decent to have: Corey McKenna, Ali Malay, unfortunately Aspen Ladd, Ray Borg, Tyler Diamond, Sage Northcutt.
I think Chad
Jung could probably do all right.
Dawoon Jung.
Chad, I'm just not
Chad's
sure.
Chad's like iffy. Chad is iffy,
it's
but
just
like you gotta look at
the weight class.
No, it is.
Age, you know.
No, it is. Like, and I get that. I'm just saying, like, he's someone who I'm not like as like. I could see him at minimum, like, probably going 50-50, but not like losing record. Now, like Uriah Faber, I don't see doing well. Tony, oh god,
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. So LA got the saddest team for sure.
Oh yes. that is 100%.
They are going to. I think they may be the last place team at the end of it all.
Yeah, definitely. That is
like
easily
the
last
parlay pick. They are last
for sure. But to go through the next ones, Miami, we got Paige Van Zandt, Kat Zingano, Maria Agapova, Marlon Moraes, which, oh my God, I can't.
Another
it
bad
was
one.
so sad seeing that he actually got picked. Charles Rosa, Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stevens, which we'll talk about him later on too. Delano Taylor, Gleason Tebow, Hector Lombard, Yoel Romero, Thiago Santos, Robelis Despain, and JDS Junior Dos Santos.
Skipped over Felipe Lins.
I didn't think that, not as notable of a name.
For some reason, I thought you were running through all of them.
Oh, no, sorry. My bad. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
I mean, Felipe Lins, pretty good fighter.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah.
This one's like a mid-team to me.
Yeah,
nothing
this
terrible.
one's
like, obviously, Marlon Moraes being sad as shit, but like, other than that, it's not the worst. It's not the best. They were just there, and we'll see how we can do. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's like with
a couple better names than others, obviously.
No, yeah, because like obviously was saying that
shit, I forgot Hector Lombard was 36.
46. Yeah,
46.
Yeah, because it's like Hector being 46, Yoel being 47. It's like both of those are definitely rough. And then it's like Hector's been doing good on the BKFC side, cooking, doing all that, but he hasn't fought MMA in a shit ton of years, and in MMA on a 6-fight losing streak. So I'm just
right.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit rough. And then like I said, Marlon Moraes, that's just should not be here.
Marlon Moraes should not be here at all. Pettis, Jeremy Stevens are both fine considering like the other competition there. Are we gonna get Pettis Henderson 3? I just thought of that.
Well, actually, it would be Pettis Henderson 4 because
they find Karate Combat.
To fight in WEC, UFC, Karate Combat, and then GFL. Like that is
the rivalry that will never die.
I love that, and we need it.
Yeah, like that has to fucking because, and then it's like with obviously like saying Tony Ferguson, it's like in my head Anthony Pettis maybe, and like Benson Henderson, those are like the only people that I have like out of all the people for him to potentially fight. It's like those we can't give Tony anyone else.
No, yeah, they're gonna do Tony versus Kevin Lee too, probably.
But so with that, we'll get into the New York team. Also, not really a great team either.
No, but they are another team that have like the couple solid picks.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's like within the women, there's, the 2 solid ones, but
yeah. The one thing that was surprising, Beaton Nguyen actually getting drafted, the only fighter on the draft with a negative record overall in their MMA career.
Yeah.
So
6 and 9, 35 years old, 3-5 losing streak.
Yeah.
Definitely a little rough.
Yeah.
But Holly Holm got drafted to New York. Jimmy Rivera, Lance Palmer, Kai Kamaka III, Sydney Outlaw, Kevin Lee, like you said, Ginger. Neiman Gracie, Dylan Dennis got drafted, which is very funny.
Dylan fucking Dennis.
Phil Hawes, Chris Weidman, Devin Clark, OSP, Alan Belcher, and then my boy, old man Alexei Olenek. I was so happy to see that. Let's fucking go.
If there was a Team Moscow, he would have been drafted there.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, how you guys overall feeling about the New York team?
I think they did good in getting Melissa Amaya in there.
Yeah.
She's 30 years old, 7-0, so that was good.
Yep.
But like overall, again, I feel like Ray Longo is just having fun with himself because like Kai Kamaka III fucking solid, like Kevin Lee solid, Sydney Outlaw solid, like there are definitely the people where I feel he was like, now let me get some real guys in there.
Devin Clark as well.
Very solid pick too.
Great, but like Dylan Dennis, Chris Weidman, like just the certain people where it's like, yo, dog, what are you doing for real?
I will say this, like so far, like my bottom 3 teams are LA, Miami, New York. I would say New York is the highest on that, but they're gonna be like the 4 seed. Yeah, in my opinion,
that's fair.
I could see them being the 4 seed just because they got some names that are good. Holly Holm's gonna be able to win her fights. Kai Kamaka, like that just is the only reason that's not the greatest pick is he's going to go to decision in every single fight.
Yep.
So he's going to get the least amount of points, but Kevin Lee can finish people, Sydney Outlaw can finish people, Neiman Gracie can finish people.
Yeah.
And like I said, Devin Clark isn't a bad pick. I think for the weight class, like in who's in the actual divisions, I actually think that's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah. Middleweight, I honestly feel like is a good mix of like older names, but aren't like super old and terrible.
Other than fucking Miami's picks. of Hector and Yoel.
Yeah, but like, that's the thing though. But even with them, it's like, I mean, Yoel definitely has been like falling off in terms of actual excitement.
But I know he's still been fighting and he's still been winning. Like he's not on a losing streak right now.
It's like middleweight, we could get some real fun out of this.
Gegard is gonna win.
Yeah,
100%.
He's smashing everyone.
Yeah. Look, he's fighting. He's gonna beat Luke Rockhold because he deserved a title shot. He's going to beat Uriah Hall again because he deserved a title shot in the UFC. He's going to beat Yoel Romero again because he deserved a title shot. He's going to beat the fuck out of Chris Weidman, unfortunately.
Again.
And he's going to beat And then him and Douglas Lima are going to have a really technical scrap that he's going to win via split decision.
Nah, he'll UD him again.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, and then the last team, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Notable names there, Alejandro Lara. I was so sad seeing these back to back. Rafael Assunção, Renan Barão. Assunção obviously nowhere near as bad as Barão, but still rough. Julio Arce, Patricky Pitbull, Alex Oliveira, Alan Patrick, Douglas Lima, Antonio Carlos Jr., Mauricio Shogun Hula. That's a rough one.
Yes.
Bruno Capoloza, Fabricio Verdum.
I was about to say. I wasn't surprised to see Cowboy Oliveira sign up for this because
not at all.
How else is he gonna feed his 30 kids?
But yeah, and then
it's also not that scary looking for him of a division this year, and he's only 36 years old at 175. Not
too bad. Yeah. So how you guys feeling about Sao Paulo overall?
I think that Sao Paulo did good in getting a couple younger and better fighters because they have unnotable names, but they have Carlos Petrozula, who is 27, 13-0. They have Camila Reynoso, who's only 21, and she's 6-0. And then, like you said, just like even for some of the notable names, it's just like, pretty solid stuff. You have 31-year-old Mick Linares. He is 19-3. Like they actually, like within their old names, they at least got some good prospects in there.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like the front runners right now are Dubai and Sao Paulo for the 1 and 2 seed. Just because
you think so?
I think so. I think London, like the thing with London is just like their light heavyweights are gonna potentially hold them back because Gustafsson hasn't looked great in his last fights. Alir Latifi hasn't been the best. And then just some of the other names, it's just older names. I just think they're more 2 or 3 seed. But I think that Dubai just like has some better names in the lower weight classes, and Sao Paulo, like Oliveira has always been a fairly good fighter. He just wasn't like on like top 15 UFC level, but he doesn't have to worry about that here. Like most of these people I would say aren't.
Yeah.
Patricky's still like 50-50. Douglas Lima is very good. I forgot Alan Patrick was at that weight class.
That's
the worst pick
going on with that.
That's the worst one out of all of them, probably, besides Shogun Hua and Renan Barão. Because Rafael Assunção, like you said, sad to see him back to back, but Assunção is nowhere near as bad as Shogun or Renan. He was still like going 50-50. It was just again like these extremely good guys, and there are some of the people in there that I think he beats. So it just is one of those things where I think they can sneak in there into the top spot potentially. It just all depends on who's match against who.
Yeah, because honestly, like Sao Paulo, I don't really know exactly how, because with you like saying that you think that's your number 2 pick, like I like find that interesting because their mix of older names and younger people, I'm really not like. I feel like they, like you said, they have the potential to sneak their way into like the top and actually win or something.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they also ended up in the back half of it, and like in the 4 to 5 spot or something either. Like I'm not sure exactly on how it's all going to play out. But yeah, it's definitely extremely interesting. I'm not exactly sure in gauging just all of how people are entirely feeling about GFL and the excitement, but after the draft, getting all these names and the potential matchups in some of the divisions, I'm super excited for this, man.
Yeah.
And then it's like they just got to do the most important thing, commission testing only. That's it. As long as that's going on, so many of these names are going to be able to perform, you know?
Mandated juicing.
We're not there yet.
Mandated juicing, jeez. This isn't Pride.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is GFL. That is their 2025 draft. Aside from like the 5 or 6 names that really shouldn't be in here at all, and then the whole kind of thing with Rashad Evans, I feel like overall it looks pretty good. I feel pretty good about it, and I'm excited to see what happens with them this year.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's see how everyone else is feeling about it. But moving on, let's get to some actual fights that happened this weekend. Why not?
One championship was so fucking good. It was everything I wanted it to be. It delivered.
Yeah. 170 from Thailand. This shit was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So many great fights, so many great performances, some absolutely vicious finishes across this card.
There was a lot of them.
Yeah, this weekend was just fucking brutal, kind of like mainly between BKFC and one, but it's like crazy. Let's start it off at the top. The reason why we were all here. Originally, we were gonna get the trilogy between Taiwanchai and Smokin' Joe, but Taiwanchai had a pull out. They do Smokin' Joe versus Superbon on short notice. Superbon knocks him out, and he gets his shot. Rematch at Taiwanchai. Heading into it, you know, you were definitely way more confident that Taiwanchai was going to get it done. I wasn't, too sure of how it was going to go. And then honestly, with just throughout the card watching and listening to Superbon talk and stuff, I was getting more confident. I'm just like, man, I feel like Superbon can probably do this. Round one, a pretty good back and forth. Both of them being like, a bit tentative, just trying to find their moments. I feel like Superbon was like, trying to make the adaptations that he wanted to and just finding his way. And then it instantly fell apart round two.
Yeah.
Gets dropped. And from that moment, I was like,
never fully recovered.
Yeah, I just didn't think it. Taiwanchai all over him as soon as he got that knockdown. Got 2 more after it, getting 3 knockdowns, finishing the fight a minute 10 seconds into the second round. Holy goddamn shit, Taiwanchai's a monster.
No, yeah. He really is.
And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, I know he had a closer fight with Smokin' Joe, and their last fight it went to a decision, but I don't know, it's just one of those things where their performance is not always telling of them in just one night, So it's like you might have went to that majority decision with Smokin' Joe, but I just knew that he's kind of a monster. Superbon getting a bit older, and it just kind of happened the way that I thought it might, which is sad, but it's one of those things. He was in there with him before. Superbon has only gotten older, where Taiwanchai's only 26, so it's like he knew what he had to do.
Yep.
And because I know it's not always always watching them and everything, Ginger, but how do you feel about this one? How you feel about Taiwanchai? I know you got to watch them all through and everything. So
just monster. I was kind of shocked because I was like, I knew Superbon was the champion and all that in kickboxing, so I was like, okay, let's see how this actually goes. Because I haven't really seen these two fight. I know they fought before.
Yep.
But I didn't see that fight, so I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, the first round, very tentative, very, back and forth. And then, that second round basically started, and Taiwanchai just kind of started going for it a little bit, and then once he finally caught Superbon, it was over. Like you said, he just never let him fully recover. The second he would, the mandatory 8 count was done, right on him.
Yep.
And then just gets the other knockdown, then gets the third one, and it just is like,
Yeah, man, the explosions off the left side from Taiwanchai, he just fucking rips people apart, man. I know that obviously he's been having a few more decisions, and they were talking about that in the post fight where it just that basically kind of like his fan base haven't been too happy with him because he's been having a bit more like lackluster performances, seemingly not like performing like they, like expected of him. But yeah, he really went out there getting that finish over a legend like Superbon. That was incredible for him. And like you said, 26 years old.
25 actually, sorry.
Damn, 25. So yeah.
Yeah, no, 25, turns 26 in April, so.
Yeah.
Pretty, pretty much 26.
So it's like, we obviously have, fights and stuff before, but like with, Smokin' Joe also being on this card, do you think probably Taiwan Chai's next fight defending his title is going to be against Bompara, since he went out there and he finished Smokin' Joe first round very easily? He looked amazing out there getting that.
Yeah,
he did. There's definitely a good chance for that.
Yeah, no, I could see it.
He's only had 3 fights in one championship, but he lost his debut, and his 2 wins are now Luke Lessie and Smokin' Joe, both in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
2 very, very, very solid wins.
Oh, yeah.
So, the
top
way
5 guys. So.
Yeah, the way they be cooking people through. You get 2 wins like that, it's a good chance he's the next guy.
No, yeah, 100%. What weight class?
Featherweight.
Featherweight.
Because I just feel like, with, the plan being Taiwan Chai, Smokin' Joe, and now it's like he's been finished twice since that, so there's no real reason to go to that trilogy at this point.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's Superbon, Superbon number 1, like, this is just what the rankings say at the moment. Superbon number 1, Smokin' Joe number 2. I'm not going to try. And then him at number 4. Sorry, it's long, and
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, that more than likely, I'd say Bompara. Yeah, because he just dominated Smokin' Joe. That was
exactly.
Which was just sad to see, because there was no reason that Smokin' Joe came back. Because like we said, in between the fight with him and Taiwan Chai, which only happened in September, he then fought again, got knocked out by Superbon, and now he was back this weekend getting knocked out again. Like, he needs to sit the fuck down.
Yeah. So yeah. We'll see what's next for Taiwan Chai. Definitely very excited to see him perform again. And just always some good old fun with some Muay Thai in one championship.
Yeah.
Let's head on over to some good old MMA. Bantamweight division. Fabricio de Andrade, the reigning defending champ, defends his title successfully for the first time in a rematch against Kwon Il.
I was so fucking happy.
Yeah,
I was so
Take it away, Ohms.
All right, because Fabricio de Andrade, he had his first shot at the belt in October of 22, and he kicked the absolute shit out of John Lineker's cup by accident, cracked that shit in half, no contest. It was awful. They couldn't get that rematch going until February of 23. So a couple months later, he wins easy. It was a really good fight. He looked amazing.
Yes.
I guess they just couldn't really get anything going with the MMA, and they love their double champ, crossover fights.
Yep.
So Fabricio went to go and fight Jonathan Haggerty for the inaugural kickboxing or interim
inaugural
right?
kickboxing title. Yes.
Yes. So, and he looked really bad. It was really fucking sad. Jonathan Haggerty absolutely just put it the fuck on him and dismantled him, got him out of there by round 2.
Yep.
Very sad. But that was November of 23. So now we're back here, January 2025. He's been out for a year and a few months, back in his sport. And you have Kwon Il, who has just been on a tear. He was on the computer
3-fight win streak.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4. 3-fight win streak, all knockouts. And with him getting knocked out by Haggerty, it was a little bit like, oof, this is kind of scary, But 42 seconds into the first round, faster than the first time they fought, Fabricio got him out of there with the body shot. Their first fight, 1 minute and 2 seconds, he got the liver kick. And with this one, immediately, he went out there and kicked the body, punch to the body, punch to the body. He was targeting that, got him out of there in 42 seconds.
Yeah.
You just saw when that left hook landed and Kwon just fucking fell over or like bent over, and then Fabricio just punched him down. It was done.
Yeah, no, the ground and pound, just really not really necessary, but yeah, goes in, gets the ground and pound. Herb Dean steps in, stops the fight. Like, it was extremely impressive to see, liver kick, and then, that left hook to the body was just the solidifier, goes down, falls him. He's got fucking power in his fucking hands.
Yeah, and like you said, it was the commitment to, as soon as, like, within the first 10 seconds, it was just like, this fight's gonna end. Like, like that was the intensity that both of them were throwing at each other.
Yeah.
And for Fabricio going right to the body, like you said, just kicking, punching. And then it was just so beautiful because he throws the knee to the body, gets the reaction from Kwon. Kwon throws the right hand. As soon as he does, he slips it, and that's when he drives that left hook right into the liver. Absolutely done. Yeah, and because it's like Kwon, like you said, just the 3 wins in a row. It's like he has 9 wins and 1 championship overall. All of them are finishes. He does have 5 losses now, 4 of them being finishes. Like, he is a very killer, be killed guy. And for Fabricio to go out there all the time off, getting finished in his last one in the change of sports, like, just so much like on the line for him. And that was absolutely incredible. Just to the point where it's like, I like, what the fuck do they do with Fabricio? Because it's like, obviously going over to a different sport, against like the more devastating, just like honed in strikers, he got absolutely destroyed. But then you send him back to MMA and he's just taking these people out like it's nothing. So it's just like, what?
Right.
I will say though that it's like with Kwon Wan, he has been finished those times, but it's like, he had the 1 decision. The other 2 were submissions.
Yes.
Fabricio is the only one to finish him by TKO, and I wonder if he just knows he's tough as shit. Let me go to the body right away, not even deal with this. Because it's like his first loss was a sub when he was 6-0 to Imanari in 2019. He got 53-second heel hook. Like, there is no shame in that. And then I don't know who Shoko Sato is, but again, Kwon Wan was 8-2 going into this, and Shoko was 31-13-2. He got RNC'd in the first round. It'd be like that, Fabricio the only one to be able to, like,
Yeah.
It is funny.
That is fair. That is fair.
I will say, the fight after he beat Kwon, he then loses a unanimous decision to Fabricio. Soto. I went to go look because I was like, okay, what does he have? I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. But yeah, man, so it's not sure exactly who Fabricio will end up fighting next. I don't know. It's like, bro, just put him back with John Lineker. You know what I mean? Like, let's just get that one. I know Lineker just lost in Muay Thai, but he was winning some fights. Though. He's been doing good.
Let's say, I know they already are be very much like it. Those 2 in Muay Thai?
Yeah, why not? Sure, it's basically the same thing,
but
yeah. But yeah, either way, Fabricio de Andrade, absolutely incredible win. So happy for him, and just still super young for himself, 27 years old.
Yeah.
Definitely excited to see what he does next.
Hell yeah.
This next one,
I didn't expect it to go like this.
No, not even a little bit.
My bad.
Yeah, bro.
Because I was kind of talking shit about Nabil Anane, that he was tall as hell, long as hell, and had no idea how to use it, but he used it. He did it. He got it together.
Yep.
Nabil, I'm sorry. I was not familiar with your game.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, I know he's good. I know he'd be winning. I know he'd get people out of there. But the amount of times we watched him fight, and it's like, bro, why are you letting them get so close? You don't have to fight like this. And
exactly. That's what I mean. It's just like...
but he had his toughest test ahead of him in Nico Carrillo. And I forget what they said, that he broke like a 13-fight winning streak. 15-fight winning streak.
Pretty sure.
He has been absolutely killing these people since he's been in here, and here comes Nabil. Got him out of there in the first round.
Yeah. Like, impressively too. It wasn't even just like, like, okay, I can see that. It's like, no, that was impressive as fuck. And I'm just like, okay, Nabil, sorry. I literally was not that familiar with your game.
Because it's like, Nico coming in, 4-fight win streak in 1 championship, all finishes, was supposed to get a shot at Superlek for the title. Superlek pulls out. They put the interim title on the line for, him. Nabil steps in short notice. And it's like, because obviously with Nabil being so tall, he's extremely thin, and it's fucking Nico. He's finishing everyone, and he is extremely built compared to fucking Nabil. Like you said, the amount of times that we watch people just be able to walk in his range and get their game going because he's just not using his distance effectively. And the 1-2s were just ripping apart Nico.
Yeah.
Every time he got in too close, started smacking him with elbows, landing some knees, and then he was being the one to initiate the clinch and actually get like the better end of it. That was so good, man. Absolutely vicious work. Nabil stopped Nico inside of the first round, gets himself the interim title, and he's gonna get himself a rematch at Superlek because that's his one loss inside of one championship. Been on a 6-fight win streak now, I think, since. With this win,
yeah,
6. So
6 fights in the interim belt. Like, what else is there to do but make that?
Exactly.
I love how Tapology already has rumored upcoming bout him versus Superlek, March 23rd, 2025.
Bro, we get that on fucking Tekru Rodtang. I am so fucking down for that. Let's fucking go. I wonder if Chatri might have said something in like, post-fight press conference, something like that.
Maybe.
But yeah, if we get that on fucking 172, that would be awesome. But yeah, man, it's like just such an amazing streak for him. Nakrab, Moingtai, Kulamdam, Felipe Lobo, Soe Lin Oo, who was on this card fighting Saeksan, showing how fucking tough he was in that one. Yeah. And then now Nico for the title in the first round. I am definitely down to see him rematch Superlek.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Absolutely amazing. Let's fucking go. And then, like I said, Saeksan, the man that yields to no one. He was also on this card taking on Soe Lin Oo. Just a dog fight.
It was a dog fight.
Just it was crazy that for so much of that, Soe Lin Oo was just like pushing into Saeksan and making him go backwards. He is extremely tough to be able to hang in there for all 3 rounds with Saeksan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Let's go. Other than that, Sinsamut, he got a nice win. First round elbow. Very nice.
Nasty elbow.
Yes.
But one of the fights that we were most excited for early on in the card, Johan versus Johan. I was a little bit surprised with this fight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Johan Estupinan did a great job of not just flying his face into punches full force in this one. So he was able to stay on. So in the first round, they did count the knockdown, which it's like he grabbed the kick and then, Johan Ghazali, like grabbed the kick through the punch. And like, as he was getting up, just kind of stumbled backwards.
I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely wanted to bring that up that we learned because, we were talking about it in what fight was it that, Kulabdam and John Lineker, right? That we were saying that, technically it should have been a draw because of the 10-8, but, apparently if there is a knockdown in the fight and the ref, starts counting them out and treats it like a knockdown, the judge can ultimately decide if they count that as a knockdown or not. It does not automatically translate to a 10-8. They can still give the round a 10-9. So yeah, with that, Johan had a bit of Johan Estupinan slipped a bit because like you said, his foot got caught, but because he tripped on the way up, I feel like the ref was like, oh, he's hurt, and then counted him out.
Yeah.
But then I feel like because of that, I don't know, he just tightened up round 2 and 3. And it was so wild watching Estupinan be significantly more composed than I ever expected to. And Ghazali to be so uncomposed and oh shit, I have to go, and just being so wild with it.
Yeah. And because I feel like probably a big part of it was probably just him being able to manage the distance a bit better in this one. Yeah. And because it's, just not having to extend and leap so much into a lot of his shots. And so just being able to get in there, land big shots on Ghazali, and then get out of there, you really saw that start to frustrate him, Ghazali. And so, just throwing
forward,
wild shots, just swinging crazy overhands, just so far out from missing. And it's just funny of... Estupinan is the wild person, but because that's how he is, he's able to use that wildness to his own effectiveness. And Johan Ghazali was just pulled out of his game, wasn't able to fight how he normally does, and Estupinan ended up getting the unanimous decision win over him.
Had a knockdown, cut him the fuck open. It was just a good fight, though.
Yeah.
Very good fight.
And that's definitely one of them. It's 18 and 21 years old or something. So it's they'll probably fight each other a couple times if they stick around in one for years.
Yeah.
So that was a whole lot of fun. Absolutely incredible work from motherfucking Marcelo Garcia to get it done over Imanari first, 4 minutes, 49 seconds into the round, north-south choke. He was just, all over him from the start, completely dominating him positionally, everything. Imanari really just looked like he was trying to defend and stay safe the whole time, didn't go for anything. And then the transition, being able to get that north-south choke, absolutely amazing. That so heartwarming to see him get it done.
Yeah.
Fucking 13-year layoff from competition, coming in against another legend. Having his kids there with him, that was definitely awesome. And then called out Shinya Aoki afterwards, wanting to grapple with him. So let's see how that goes. If
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So it's just a funny one of just Shinya. It's like, what? It's just so talking so crazy last year. You know what I mean? In that fucking Japan cards, but we'll see what happens with that.
They get a rematch 20 years later.
Yeah, I know that. Damn, would it be 20 years?
Yeah, May 28, 2005.
That's so incredible. Oh my god.
Rematch 20 years in the making.
Yep. Yeah. From their 20s to their 40s. Oh man. But yeah, and then other than that, Estupinan's twin brother Jordan made his debut, opening up the card against Jonathan Haggerty's brother, Freddie Haggerty. And that was a little bit sad right away, seeing of like, damn, Jordan is way more composed than fucking. Yeah. But then it's also like Johan did look more composed in this one, so maybe it's just something of they're just kind of tightening up together. You know what I mean?
Still a great fighter, just very fun to watch.
Oh yeah, they said that Freddie was moving up in like that one, and you could definitely tell that he was a bit undersized because there were just some points in the fight where he was pushing forward, throwing big bombs, but nothing was just really hurting Jordan too much, and it just didn't have enough firepower in there.
Yeah.
Let's go. 170. Absolutely great card. Whole lot of fun, and can't wait to see what we get in the coming months from One Championship.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next MMA event, this one is all mixed around, but PFL Road to Dubai Champion Series. We got some shit to talk about in this one because
we do.
I know, watching this one live just had a whole lot of feels. Me and Kate did go back this morning and rewatch the main event with Usman Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes. And I definitely have some differing opinions and feels about that fight.
I do feel entirely different.
Okay.
So,
because I do want to start it off with what I was saying to you. I think that a big reason, because initially watching the fight live, I was like, and I heard the scorecard 48-46, I was like, that's Paul Hughes. There's no way that they gave 4 rounds to 1 for Usman. Like, Paul Hughes did way better. There's just no shot. After watching it back, I truly think that the biggest factor into that is we have an undefeated Nurmagomedov. We expect them to be at a certain level, and when they are performing and just dominating people, not facing much adversity, when they finally do face that adversity, we give way more credit to the little things from that guy showing adversity than the guy that is handling it and still doing what they're doing. Because watching it live, I remember specifically after round 2 being like, oh, that was a Paul Hughes round. When I watched it back live, there is no shot in hell Paul Hughes won that round. None. There's no argument for it. There is none. I think the closest rounds are rounds 4 and 5, where it's like round 4 to me, I gave it to Paul. Round 5, I gave to Usman though. So technically I had it 4 rounds to 1 for Usman after watching it live, but they were razor close. If you put it either way, I wouldn't be mad. So if you did give Paul rounds 4 and 5, it would still be the 10-8. I mean, not a 10-8, a draw because of the missing point in round 3.
Right.
But in my opinion, there was no chance in hell Paul won rounds 1, 2, or 3.
So Usman Nurmagomedov, he gets the majority decision. 2 judges scored it 48-46. 1 judge scored it 47-47. Like you said, there was a point deducted in the 3rd round after the third nut shot. There was one nut shot in round 2, and then 2 happened like pretty much back to back in round 3. So that's what Usman ended up losing the point. But yeah, so
okay.
What's
up? So
up?
I do have a question for you guys after rewatching it.
Yeah.
Did you still give round 3 to Hughes?
Okay, so
no. I wanted to ask that.
So I know for me, after watching it, it's like because for me, I do think that it was 1 through 3 for Usman. 4 and 5, I did personally give to Paul Hughes, so I would go more towards like the 47-47. But I do think that 3, like 4
is where it started to get closer.
Yeah,
but 4 was like head to head.
So it's like definitely on the rewatch, I like scored that for Usman. But if someone wanted to like argue for Paul Hughes in that one, it's like I don't think that it's the best case, you know, for him. But I like
it's not the worst case either.
3 through 5 in my like honestly 3 through 5. However you score it, I really don't have too much of a problem with it.
But I do think 3 is more of a reach than 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely do lean more with a 47-47. Usman taking 1 through 3, Paul Hughes taking the 4 and 5.
And then the point deduction being 9-9.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that it's like no matter like the scorecards, whatever, how anyone scored it, I like personally, I feel like Usman deserved to retain the title for sure. Yes. And even on the rewatch and everything, and like without like all the feels like in the moment, Paul Hughes gave away this fight. If he pushed this fight a little bit more in like a few different spots throughout any of the rounds, he could have fucking won this with a stamp. And I feel like he's probably kicking his ass today for it.
He probably is.
I feel like that is the biggest fucking thing.
Oh yeah, because like he definitely was hurting Usman to the body a lot of the time, and that was really starting to drain on Usman as well. You'd see him taking big breaths in a lot of the rounds. I do think he definitely could have, if he pushed that a lot more, he probably could have done something a bit, like, and got somewhere and got the stamp, but, like, you know, it is what it is. Also, I need to stop looking at fan scoring on MMA decisions, because there's 26% of people who think it was 49-45 Usman, which is just a dumb scorecard. That's giving Usman basically all 5 rounds with the point deduction.
Well, again, but that's the thing, is because of how close 4 and 5 are, if people were to give all 5 to Usman, I couldn't actually be mad at it. Like, although I do think Paul did enough to deserve at least 1 round, but that's just like emotion at that point because of how close they are.
It like that's where it's just the scoring system and everything where it just is hard in MMA, because it's like you can have fights where it's 50-45 and it's like that could be just as okay of a scorecard as 48 or like 49-46 the other way. You know what I mean? But then there are ones where it's like if it's fucking like 4 rounds to 1 instead of 3 rounds to 2, it's like what the fuck are you doing giving that person an extra round like that? You know, like it's just very hard. Like the rounds are super close at points where it comes down to very key moments of what do you favor more, and like whoever's judging it, what just had more impact in your mind, like just while you're watching that short 5-minute segment. It's like things are happening so fast. It's like depending on the angle and everything and just where you're sitting at, it can affect things of what you think actually lands and doesn't. Like, it's.
Oh yeah, 100%. It is just one of those things. Like there are a lot of times, like when it comes to the official scorecards, like for the most part, I don't argue with other people in terms of like exactly, because sometimes it is just like they either are like it is either like very close, it really doesn't matter which way it went, or they legitimately are saying things that are not part of the scoring criteria. It's just like, okay, you just don't know what you're talking about. But most of the time when I'm looking at official scorecards, I'm just like trying to make sure, like, did the right person win here? Did the right outcome at least happen?
After watching it back, I totally think the right thing happened, and I see why, because it was like I said, going back to the point of giving more credit to Paul Hughes, because we didn't expect it. When somebody is so underestimated and you think that, oh, like they're really not going to be able to do much, and then they start doing even a little bit, it definitely looks like way more in the moment, you know? So like again, with round 2, after watching it back, I was like, how did we even think this? Like, Paul landed a couple big shots, but Usman was active throughout the whole thing. He was pushing him back the whole time. He landed a couple big shots himself. Like it was an Usman round. And I feel like we just saw those couple big shots from Paul and was like, oh shit, he's doing something, you know? Like
no, exactly. I do still think this is probably one of the best fights in PFL history.
Oh,
for sure.
Like, without doubt. So
because it's like, it wasn't like the craziest barn burner or anything, but it's like 2 extremely high level competitors, both having to make adjustments, trying their best, and like, just trying to get it done after 5. Like, it was just an extremely good fight. But the only fight I give a fuck about between these two is for them to fight each other again. Because because it's one of those things. Usman said it afterwards that he underestimated Paul Hughes. He was thinking that he was easy work. He wasn't a challenge, wasn't shit.
He was amateur.
Yeah, an amateur fighter from like who are Irish fighters. Like you guys fucking suck compared to Dagestanis. And just afterwards of just like, you're tough, brother. Like that was fucking good. And then just knowing that Paul, if he gives it a little bit more like from that fight that he could have won it, they are both going to make just adaptations and differences in their camp and preparation and mindset for this one. I am excited for a rematch. Let's fucking go.
That is one of the things. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just going to say his takedown defense was on point. He was doing so good. When he did get taken down, he was able to be scrambly. He reversed some of them. It was just like the one takedown that he got taken down. What was it, the third round or the fourth round, where he just decided to settle because it was the last minute of the round. You know, he was throwing little pop shots from the bottom. He landed a good elbow, but he settled. And then maybe it was that was the end of the third, because then it was the fifth round. I mean, the fourth round that Usman just kind of held him up against the cage, and he was so content with being on his knee for too long. You know, gave up a lot of minutes of that round up against that cage in bad position with nothing being thrown. You know, so it's like, you know, he did really well for the most part, but it's like, if he's more active in those scenarios and just in general, getting his hands going quicker, because after Usman was smacking up his legs in the first round, he kind of gave up the first round by staying in the kicking range instead of getting in there. When he got in there, he was able to land some good shots. So it's like, if he gets going, he's on the gas tank. He just puts it on him. He might even just tire Usman out by the end. Like,
because it was like, you know, with saying of like, oh, round two, and like, you know, watching it back of like, how did we score, you know, for him live? It's like, because that was round one, he didn't do shit. He was just standing in front of Usman trying to put on little pressure feints and just getting kicked up for it. Legs, body, head, all over, literally had nothing. But then it was round two. He throws that little step up front kick, pushes Usman back. He falls down. And then, you know, Usman had the little, like, you know, reaction to it, goes in for a takedown, gets his leg out, defends it perfectly. That was the little momentum shift of like, Paul Hughes is in this fight and he can actually, he's a player in it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But 2 and 3, it just, he took too long in the round to really get going. And that's why with like, after like watching the second and third round, it's like just kind of felt like they were Usman rounds, because it's like for the first 2.5 minutes, Paul really isn't doing much. He's letting Usman work, and then he starts getting some shots going, and he's getting like, you know, his own stuff going.
But Usman's still working. It's not like he's just pushing Usman back, and now Usman's just stopped and he's taken over. Now it just became more back and forth. But it's like at that point, Usman won because you didn't do anything impactful enough. You didn't stop him in his tracks, and you didn't take over. So it went from Usman having the first half of the round to now you guys have a back and forth of a round. Usman won. Like,
so it extremely close fight. I know people are definitely really pissed off with the results right afterwards. It's one of those things where you got to take all fucking bias out and go back, rewatch it, and just score it, and just objectively of who's actually landing. And there is no problem with, like you said, if someone has it 4-1 for Usman, point deduction, so it's the 48-46, I ain't got no problem with that.
No, exactly. Like, I have gone back in certain fights, watched it again, been like, I guess, that was the right call. You know, it is one of those things where it is hard to do that, especially when you have, like, there's a reason, like, a lot of times when I'm watching fights and it's on my own screen, I do not listen to commentary at all. That is the biggest, that hugely biases crowds. That really does. But also I was
just gonna say PFL commentators usually aren't too biased, and there wasn't really bias in this. They were just appreciating the fight at hand.
But that does happen. But there is, like,
for sure.
Depending on what it is, where it is. But the last time that Paul Hughes lost was via split decision versus Jordan Vucek. And then they go on rematch for the championship. He wins via unanimous decision. I know that tells me him and his team are smart enough to go back, watch fights, see what they did wrong, and improve upon it to the point where they actually know, all right, this is how we're actually going to win this fight.
Yeah.
So, and the thing with Usman Nurmagomedov, the only reason I'm not sure that would happen is because Team Nurmagomedov is fucking good and also does that shit. Because they're definitely like, there were times where Habib was jumping out of his seat at Usman, like, what the fuck? Yeah. And it's like, they're also going to go back, look at this fight, and he's going to drill him on why do you do this? Why did you do this? So
yeah. I've always said it with them that even from wins, they take away from the wins to improve. Yes. They don't just go, oh, I won, I'm the best. It's like he said it. I underestimated. He's going to grow from this.
And it's one of those things where it's like with like Islam and Umar and Usman, like they're all technically much more well-rounded than Khabib. And like in certain places, like just much better. But I feel like one of just the key differences is I think Khabib is the only one out of every single one of like the fighters on that team that is like father's plan. That can actually fuck whatever you're feeling, thinking in the fight. You're gonna do exactly what the fuck you're supposed to do and follow the fucking game plan. You got too many of these other guys that are better at striking and wanting to do this and test that, and like they make too many mistakes and like they're doing too many other things that give their opponents way too much of a chance in these fights. And with like just Umar taking the loss to Marab and fight, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like that is just such a big difference of like just grinding and drilling what you're supposed to do, and like these guys just don't follow it to the T like Khabib did, and that's why he remained perfect. And obviously Usman is still perfect as of now, extremely young, but it's like I feel like that's just probably like a difference too.
For sure. And like that's gonna be something like, and that's also a thing with like being younger, being like, and then growing, like that's the thing. It's like maturity and things like that. Like that is going to going to mature from these experiences, and they're going to learn from it. And that's the biggest thing about the whole thing is I think they're going to, Umar, Usman, they're both going to get much more dangerous after these experiences.
Yeah, because with Umar taking the loss, I feel like it's like, okay, now I really got to fucking figure the shit out. You know what I mean? And I feel like this was a close enough fight for Usman with, like you said, given no respect, that it's like, okay, I got to fucking tighten some shit up.
Yeah.
Just Umar just say they're like, I can't become a Boubacar. That was a dick move. I'm sorry. I thought of that. I'm like, well,
let's go. Great fight either way. Cannot wait to see them fight again. Hopefully they're able to get that done this year, and don't fuck around with any other fights in between. We don't need it.
No.
Only other real notable thing on this card, co-main event, Vadim Nemkov got a first-round submission over Tim Johnson at heavyweight. Good for him. He made that look extremely easy. Landed a nice head kick that cut open Tim Johnson on top of his head, had him blood leaking all over, grabbing him with the body locks, just tripping him out all over the place, ragdolling him, jumping the back end. Yeah, that was absolute domination from Vadim Nemkov, becoming the third member of Team Fedor, including Fedor himself, to beat Tim Johnson. So that's definitely really fun.
Tim Johnson is now 0-3 against Team Fedor.
He
is the opposite of Dom Cruz and Team Alpha Male. I know I said that during the fight companion, but gotta mention it again because
it's very funny. I feel like the only reason for Vadim to be doing shit at heavyweight is like they gotta be setting up him and Francis, right? Like that's the only fight that kind of is like that would have any sort of a thing for Francis at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Well, the thing is, like he moved up because he beat Bader, beat Phil Davis, had 2 more title defenses against Corey Anderson, Yoel Romero. Like he was just like, I'm done at 205 in Bellator. And wanted to move up to heavyweight, and then they sold, and so they're like, well, shit, he's now a heavyweight, so I guess we have to deal with that.
I realized the man who took his O and knocked him out, the only one to knock him out was Yuri Prohaska.
Yep. Retirement.
Francis knocks him the fuck out, which I already figured, but I extra figure that now.
The thing is, you have to remember, like with Yuri versus Nemkov, that was in Ryzen, and they do a 10-minute first round.
Yep.
True.
So he retired after the first round. He was exhausted.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
He was.
But I do think Francis knocks him out. Like that
I didn't even realize that retirement 10 rounder. That's really fucking funny.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's like Vadim is an extremely good fighter and like actually very technically good. But it's like, at heavyweight, I just feel like he's going to be out of his depths against someone like Big Francis.
Yes.
Yeah. The strength difference, the size difference, it just... Damn.
Yeah. Did have some undefeated guys and some pretty good records on this card. People getting it done on Bellator, PFL. So, good for them. Ibrahimov. Did not realize that he was 20 years old. That was pretty goddamn impressive to see him get it done in that.
No, yeah, that was awesome for him. His opponent missed weight and was so much bigger than him. So, because, Ibrahim, like you said, 20 years old, 5'8", 66-inch reach to a 28-year-old who's 6 foot with a 73-inch reach. And he just fucking dominated him in the wrestling.
I totally forgot to since we brought it up, I'm so happy I just remembered. At the very fucking last 5 seconds of the fight, his fucking opponent Kenny starts yelling at him come on, because he's just been getting wrestle fucked the entire time. Yeah. As soon as he does that, Ibrahimov spinning wheel kicks him right off his feet, and that was
just so funny.
I was so happy, and I thought about it before and was like, oh, I can't forget it, so I'm happy you remembered.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
We were dying laughing watching that. It was funny as hell. What the?
Yeah, because Jimmy was talking shit, and I was like, bro, fuck you, and then he did that.
No, yeah, exactly.
I know, I just always love that when, I'm just saying some shit, and then it just immediately, something, the opposite happens or whatever. Yeah, always fun. But yeah, so some good old PFL stuff there. Last little thing to bring up, we did have some BKFC Knucklemania 5.
Yes. It was violent.
Very violent.
Extremely violent. And bruh, good on motherfucking BKFC to have the attendance record in Philadelphia at that venue. What, that is 7 years into their fucking promotion. UFC's been there, Major Boxing has been there, all these fucking different things in combat sports, and they were fucking number one. I love that shit, man. 17,700 people in that place.
I mean, I wonder if it had to do with the fact that BKFC isn't expensive.
No.
They went to the Wells Fargo Arena, sold out over 17,000 seats, and I'm sure they were more expensive than they've been in the past years, but it's I bet you they're not charging $800 for no ringside cage side seat.
I also wonder if they're able to get more, if they have more floor seating than what the UFC does. When they go into that,
people get real close.
So I am wondering about that as well. So that might also be part of it, but outside of that,
it just so smart going to Philly, bringing motherfucking Eddie Alvarez in the main event to fight in his hometown. I'm pretty sure they said it was 15, 20 years since he's fought in Philly or something like that.
It's been a long time.
Just a long ass time that. It's just one of those things where it's I know talking about UFC in certain times with going to certain areas and they get too committed on bringing certain people there, but it's to the specific markets and especially smaller promotions. It's that is how fight sports and all started. You bring a motherfucker to their home place and you have them sell out the place, and it's absolutely incredible. So that was just awesome for them.
And then,
but in the main event, Jeremy Stephens taking on Eddie Alvarez. I was so sad watching motherfucking Eddie get beat up, touched up by Jeremy Stephens.
Yep.
Ends in a corner stoppage at the end of round 3. Jeremy gets it done, remains undefeated in BKFC. I know you were definitely very happy for that, Ginger. But it was just crazy. Eddie, a career lightweight. Jeremy obviously had fights at lightweight, but a career featherweight more of. And just whenever Jeremy Stephens landed on him, it was just so much more impactful than what Eddie was touching him with.
Yeah. Well, it is.
He also didn't look undersized, though.
No.
He kind of looks bigger than him. It's been a while since he was over there competing at 145. You know what I mean? Because it's even when he was in MMA, competing in PFL after UFC, all of that was at lightweight. So he's definitely filled in to be a bigger guy at this point. Same height, actually has a longer reach. So.
That's the other part of it is the reach. The other thing is Eddie Alvarez is also older, and he has been in so many wars as well. Yes, Jeremy has been knocked out, he's been in some wars, but when you're even older, it's going to take a lot more of an effect on you. And so there's that. Knocked him down in the first round with a straight right hand.
Pretty sure, yeah.
And like you said, I was happy about it. I was going to be happy no matter what, because I was just I just want to see a war at this point. These two are going to go to war. and
war they did.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome for Jeremy.
Got
fucking Connor.
Jeremy Stephens at the press conference after the fight, during when he was interviewed backstage, playing the perfect heel to Philadelphia. He knew his role. He knew that he was not going to get cheered at all, so he's like, let me steer into this shit. Let me really get booed. Let me give you a reason to hate me.
And it's like, it's just saying that everyone was against him. The promotion was against him. Fucking the fans were against him. Everyone
Connor was against him.
And then had that little fucking face off with Connor and shit afterwards. It's just so funny. It's like
Connor was so coked out.
How many people has Connor faced off in the BKFC ring now?
But because it's just like, and even with that, it's like, dude just tried to have a fucking boxing fight with one of the Pauls for all that and got shut down by the UFC. Like, you gotta fight out of your contract, brother. Like, if you want to do anything, that is your only option. So, just kind of funny of him doing that. I'd be like, let's book it. It's like, book what? Book yourself in the UFC.
No, for real.
But
also, Jeremy Stephens at the post-fight press conference, did say he wants Mike Perry.
That would be a fun one. It definitely makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's go. That was definitely awesome for Jeremy. Eddie, that sucked. Great for him to get, like, his just a fight in the moment for, like, the week and everything leading up in his hometown, all of that. But it's like, I know he just got, like, a new gym and everything built. I'm sure he'll probably I hope he at least focuses on that more. We don't got to. He's given enough, man, to combat sports. He don't got to give it anymore.
No, 41. I think it's time. Retire with your, focus on your gym. I think like him bringing up that next generation, especially like the next generation of Philly fighters, like trained by Eddie Alvarez, like that is like some Rocky shit right there.
It's fucking awesome. Speaking of fucking awesome, this co-main event. Oh my goodness. I was so goddamn happy for Big Ben Rothwell to get it done against Mick Terrill. Round 1 knockout, 36 seconds. Just caught him clean as Mick was like trying to fade away, like out into the shot, put him down, and he was done. That's all you needed. Big Ben becomes the BKFC heavyweight champion of the world. Let's go.
Yep.
Mick was like throwing a jab out and like fading, but the thing is he jabbed and faded into the power side. Big Ben just comes right through. Boom, straight right hand, knocks him cold.
Yeah.
And just him so happy at like just watching all that emotion, that really did just get me. It made me so happy, and just good for him. Just back and forth career, MMA, everything, but now undefeated in BKFC, grabbing the title. Pretty sure Mick was like 10-0 in BKFC or something like that.
I think it was
so
9-1.
Okay,
that's what it was. He lost like debut or something.
Nah, he lost his sixth fight.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But either way, just
so he was 10-1 and 1 draw.
Okay.
That's what it was.
But either way, incredible record fucking for Bear. No, you know what I mean? Like just cooking people. And so, love that for Big Ben, man. Let's go.
No, 100%.
Other than that, Beck Rawlings beat the goddamn shit out of Taylor Starling. That shit was fucking kind of sad to see. I felt bad for Taylor. It's like she's just
Taylor's too goddamn tough and too young to be going. Oh my, because she's only 28 years old.
Damn, really? I did not honestly realize that.
Yeah, and it's like she just be going. Up. Yes, she be going out there. She has not been finished many times, and it's because she is too goddamn tough for her own good. It's crazy. Like, her last few losses have been just, fucking rough. The only one to get her out of there in BKFC is Christine Ferreira, 40 seconds into the first round. The only monster that could punch her out of there real quick. But otherwise, just a lot of vicious losses and even vicious wins.
Yeah,
she's tough. She's got fucking heart, and no matter what, she's going after you to try and put it on you. But it's like just way too open to get hit and countered. And just Beck easily won that fight. Definitely happy for Beck, but it's like, I know, just obviously Taylor's got the look and everything that people are like BKFC, they're gonna just be attracted to, and she's gonna be a big star for them. But it's like,
I feel bad for her.
Yeah, man. Because of that, she's just always gonna be in rough fights, and hopefully she's at least getting paid very well. That's all.
I'm sure she is.
She has to be.
Other than that, there were some just vicious fucking knockouts on the John Garbarino, the fucking way that through that right hand, dude got stiffened up and fucking just bouncing off the ropes, like nasty.
Yeah, it's like there's always really nasty knockouts in BKFC, but I think the most notable fight we have to bring up is Phil Caracappa versus Noah Norman.
Yes, I wanted to talk about this one.
Yes, Ginger, you can take it away.
Because Jesus Christ, how many times do you have to be warned not to throw when you're being told to clean break? It happened 3-4 different times. The second most animated headbutt I have ever seen. The first one going to I forget his name, against Floyd Mayweather. Like, same thing, just literally like charging up and just in the clinch. It's just insane. But yeah, no, Noah Norman just really just as the ref is pulling them apart. Just, the best shot he landed the whole fucking fight lands a straight right, and the ref's like, no, done, DQ'd. Get the fuck out of here.
He got 2 points taken. He
had already taken 2 points taken.
Bro, it just got to the point where all I could do was laugh because it was so ridiculous.
Because I've never a ref have to sit there and say, stop clinching and fight. Stop holding and fight. Fight. Throw a punch. What the fuck? Because that was the thing, is he kept running in for the clinches, and then the ref would break up the clinch, and it wouldn't be like, oh, as the ref is coming in, one of those mid-action moments. The ref would be in, and clear as day, ref is there, and he just over the arms, boink.
Yeah. Best punches he was landing was during those moments.
Because he literally
they almost got into a fight after the fight.
Yeah, I know.
I understand it. Phil was pissed. I'd be pissed too.
Because it was literally the headbutt, and then 4 times after the ref said break, he punched him. And after the 3 times the headbutt, the 4th time the ref was like, "I've had enough of it, DQ. Like you're fucking out of here."
I'm surprised no one didn't try to fight the ref.
Funny. That shit was just so goddamn funny. Definitely had to be mentioned. And then I know for me, the only thing I feel like to just kind of bring up, Brandon Mayer, his opponent was like a minus 9-10 favorite heading into that one. Got a fucking knockout, so that was just awesome for him to get a crazy upset for that. So I'm sure the people that are around him and his team that were fucking betting on him, they made some good money, so that was nice.
No, yeah. And also, I want to correct something you said earlier. The Garbarino Apostle Spencer knockout, that wasn't like the complete, like the cleanest knockout, because Apostle goes down not unconscious and he kind of just like doesn't get back up. He just kind of verbally, you're thinking Kane Tomlinson Jr. versus Pat Sullivan. That's when he like overhand righted him and was turning and was like ducking under, and it spun him around, landed on the rope. It was that was vicious as all hell, and I will give you that. I just wanted to correct that.
Thank you. But just people were just getting absolutely fucked up. Fucking like, because there were 2 decisions?
I think there was only 2 decisions. First fight on the card,
and then
that was a good ass fight too.
Yeah.
And then Beck and Taylor,
and like we said, that was just brutal. And because then the first fight that went to decision, there were like 7 knockdowns between them or some shit like that, right? Like, it was
Brian picked out got like 2, and then Itzo got 5.
That is definitely a card where you could go back and fucking watch that shit and have some fun if you wanted to, because
legitimately
incredible.
Legitimately go back and watch the Phil and Noah fight if you did not see it. It's
so funny.
It is hilarious.
But BKFC, love to see them do the goddamn thing. So happy for them and all their success and everything. But let's see what they're able to continue to do and what kind of fights they're able to keep on putting on.
I forgot that Noah was the hometown guy too in that fight.
Let's go. But that is all the stuff to talk about on this episode of the podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed this one, and we will catch you on the next previewing UFC Saudi Arabia, the return of Israel Adesanya in a non-championship fight. It's been about 6 years since that's happened.
That's insane.
Let's go. Yeah. We'll catch you then. Peace out, everyone.